Hi everyone, it's Nancy here and I'm back with another process video. Apologies, my camera didn't record the first bit of this layout, but it was just really me showing you what I've selected. And I'm using this piece of the Jubilee collection from My Mind's Eye as my background. And I have just sprinkled it with some gold Heidi Swapp Colour Shine. I am now taking my photos, which are these 3 small scale photos, and I'm just mounting them on some white cardstock. I am just cutting these out by hand because I'm not too worried about this layout being too neat. A lot of the things I'm going to use on it are going to be cut out by hand. So I'm going to be placing my photos across the top, and I have also cut out those specs from the, I think that might have been, I can't remember where that paper's from. It's in my paper selection, and I decided that I wanted to really use those as embellishments, but I have only used kind of like the top row, so I could, cut it down and make a smaller box, so that's an idea. I'm now using this piece of paper from the Chamel collection, and this is from the 6x6 paper pad, and this is just the film strip. And my idea here is just to build some small clusters around the photos, but I really want to let the sort of paper shine through as the main element. And this was a very quick sort of layout to do. It took me about 35 minutes, so the longest thing was, sorting out the photos. So I decided I want to do a cluster at the bottom as well, so I've just cut another pair of specs out. And I'm going to just mount that middle photo on another piece of paper, and that piece of paper is from the Brighton Pier collection, I believe, which I'm now flicking through. I was looking at mounting those other photos, but decided to just mount that slightly larger one on a piece of paper. And again, I'm just using lots of the random kind of cut out bits I've got here. So these are from the Chamel collection. This is then a really old Teresa Collins piece of paper, but these are just being used for embellishments. Really, when you've got such a loud background piece like this, I really want to let that shine through, which, as I say, is one of the reasons why I picked the smaller photos, because I didn't really want to cover it too much of it up. I wanted it to still look like it was the paint strips. So I'm just going to be playing about with the layers, and I'm sort of going through this paper pad, which I kind of forgot I had. I found while I was looking for some stickers, and I'm just going to be using these in different bits of my cluster. And that is always the great thing about 6x6 pads. I know I say it a lot, but because things have been scaled down, they're really great for using for making your own embellishments. I decided, as I say, with this to actually keep my embellishments to a pretty small amount. I either, with the really bright papers, go OTT, or just, go quite simple. Well, simple for me. I'm not too worried if they're 100% straight. I'm just going to kind of go with it. And I'm just tucking bits below the photos. As I said, I really like how that sort of bottom cluster came together. And I did try pick some colours that were sort of present in other bits of that paper, but also just wanted a few other random bits and pieces. So And now just a case of sticking everything down. I had to just cut the video out there where I stopped and cut those specs out. I was going to cut out the middles, but then I decided it would look a bit odd with all the layers I've got going on there, so I decided to keep the middle of those specs in. And I just like the words there as well. And these are just some really sort of silly outtake photos that me and my boyfriend took when we were out in the park. And it's quite funny. We were kind of taking silly photos sitting on this bench, and then this kind of wedding party arrived. Because it is actually the garden of Abbey ruins. So there is like a big cathedral and stuff. And evidently someone had got married, and then the whole wedding party had walked into the gardens to have their photos taken, and there's me and my boyfriend doing silly selfies on the bench, so that was quite funny. I decided to then cut out these small cameras from the Chanel collection, and again I'm just cutting 3 of those up to spread them across the layout. And now I might cut 4 out because I want to add 1 in each cluster. I was going to go to visual triangle, but then, and only kind of have those top 3, but I decided that even though I love the paper, it was a little bit empty, so I did end up doing 4 clusters, which, is not typically normal, but I really liked how it all came out. So I'm just playing about with tucking those cameras into the rest of the cluster. And as I said, there is, there's a few layers and stuff there, but it's not my normal amount of layering. But I had real fun doing this layout actually, and I think it works really well with this paper because the way that it is, it kind of draws your eye down. I then went through my stash and pulled out these sort of puffy stars, which I've had for a while. I can't remember where I got them from. And so I've just added 1 of those to each cluster. And then I'm going to pull out some enamel dots which kind of match the colours that we've got in the background here. So I was just kind of playing about with where I was going to put them. And on that sheet there I had loads of kind of odds and bits and pieces of enamel dots, so I did pick out them all off the spare sheets and add them to one. These are just some little black hearts I'm adding because I do feel it needs a little bit of contrast, so I decided I'm going to add some black elements. So I've just added those on, and I'm going to leave the third sort of one as that star. And I really like how that looks. So I'm now going to add some stamping. So I've just stamped the date there at the bottom, and I'd kind of forgot about my roller stamps, so I'm trying to love them again. And so I'm just doing some stamping around each of the clusters, and so I'm going to change the different words that I'm using. So I'm just stamping that around, as similar as I do with one photo. And then I'm going to just stamp it around, and I like the kind of, how that helps ground each cluster as well, so they're less floaty, which again is what the gold mist does as well. I then decided for my title I'm going to use these stamps. I've had them for ages, but I really do like the font, so pull this out, and I'm just using my Memento black ink. And this is quite a sketchy font, but I really didn't want to add any dimension to this layout. I wanted it to be quite flat because I have quite a lot of dimensional layouts in this part of my album. So I've just put my title there, which is I Love You, because I'm going to journal about how my boyfriend enjoyed being silly. I may do the journaling, I may write down on this page, so under the I might write about me, under the you photo I might write about my boyfriend, and then in the middle I'll write about us. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do there. Just taking some of my matte black ink and adding a few ink spots around It's just having to cover my photo while I'm doing that. And again, that just helps add some contrast. And I'm just placing a few of those. So that is this layout. I really enjoyed making this layout. So thank you very much, guys, for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye!